Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. On the Geroge Floyd trial that's currently underway, first, I believe that there will be a conviction, not just on Derek Chauvin, who outright murdered Geroge Floyd, but a conviction on the policing or the police force in America as a whole. Now, why do I say that? If you take a look at the trial, you'll find one common denominator. Everyone who was out there that witnessed Derek Chauvin murder Geroge Floyd was disturbed. They suffered mental anxiety or a mental illness by watching that murder take place right before their very eyes. And all of them said and expressed how they couldn't do anything. That's the most horrific part about this whole deal. Even those of us who are at home watching it on our television, and in our mind, it's like you try to come up with ways of what someone could do. Some people saying, to hell with it, man. The whole crowd should have just bum rushed the police to save this man. It's like some people saying, well, threw a rock at the cop to get his attention to save his life. Some bust a bottle on the ground, do something, but the people, there's nothing they can do. They were helpless. They sat there and watched a grown man get murdered. There's nothing they can do about it. And that was the sad and heartening part about that, is that they wanted to. You could tell in their voices, hey man, get off of him, man. You're killing him. He's not even breathing. He was like, come on, man, you're a bum for that, dude. What the hell are you doing? You know that move. You know, one was a professional fighter. Wrestler. He understood exactly what Derek Chauvin was doing. And they was helpless. There's nothing they can do. And they cried, and it's like, you know, you being there and you seeing a man getting murdered. And these police are operating and funded by your tax dollars. They feel like they are above the law. That's why you hear sentiments that was stating that we should defund the police and start over again. Because it's too far gone. When a man can sit there and have his knee on another man's neck while other police officers stand guard and won't allow anybody to come close to try to intervene, the case pleads for itself. It was a sad day in Minneapolis the day Geroge Floyd died, on a lot of accounts. One, human being life is being taken from him while an audience gathered and watched and video and filmed, and there was nothing they can do about it. And two, the helplessness that the bystanders felt when their inner soul, their nature, deep down in their very being, was crying out, do something, but fear choked them because they didn't want to land up in jail or get shot by the police. So they had an internal fight within themselves. I mean, everything was mustered up to just want to rush this cop. Man, you killing this man. But yet at the same time, damn, if I do that, I'm going to get shot. Or I might get thrown in jail for interfering with police activity. That right there ripped an individual into pieces at their core. Some are having nightmares or can't sleep. They send the man eyes closed, rolling back his head. He's on the ground. They see his lifeless body being lifted on the gurney. I'm like, damn, what could I have done? to save this man from this injustice, because everybody that was standing in the crowd was witnessing the injustice, but couldn't do nothing about it. And they stayed there hoping that the energy that they gathered up would be strong enough to make this murderous cop, Derek Chauvin, stop. They were hoping, well, maybe if we just scream out loud and tell him to stop, that we out here watching you, we filming you, maybe that would be enough to get this murderous cop to stop. But yet it wasn't. He continued. Even after George Floyd was dead, he still had his knee in his neck. And then you have to get the defense to try and come up with a reason to justify the killing of George Floyd in broad daylight by a police officer. And it's nothing they can do to justify it. It's nothing. There's nothing they can do to justify it. You know? It's what? And that's why I know Derek Chauvin is going down for this. I mean, this was beyond the scope of policing and police brutality. He went past which it was police brutality, but he just sat there and murdered a man and in front of witnesses, like he was putting on the show. Watch me kill this man in front of y'all, and there's nothing y'all can do about it. And the people knew it, but they wanted to, man. They wanted to intervene, right? They wanted to do something. That's why we have to defund, and when we build back better, as Biden say, the police department, someone has to be on that police force or advocates who show up on the scenes when someone is called, to make sure that the police does their job right, to make sure that there's no use of deadly force when it's unwarranted, to make sure that the police itself don't try to play God or not the judge and jury right there on the spot. You can't give, especially those who have racist tendencies or racist in their mind, you can't give that kind of person that type of power. Of course he's going to kill with it. That was his goal. He was aim. That motivated him. He thought he had a chance to snuff out a black man in front of an audience who was videotaping him as well. Didn't seem to bother old murderous Chauvin. Not at all. And the people who actually saw that with their own eyes, that's going to haunt them for the rest of their lives. They need some type of assistance, some counseling to go through something as traumatic as that, especially by someone who you've been taught since elementary school that the police are here to serve and protect. You even had children in kindergarten. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a police officer, right? And yet you look on these kids looking on TV, seeing the police just on the neck of a man, and there's nothing that the people can do. I mean, they yelled at him. They called him names. They tried to do everything. They really wanted to physically rush him, but they was not prepared for the consequences that would pursue after they bum rushed the police that was there killing George Floyd in broad daylight. They wanted to get involved. They really did, man. It upset them that they had to sit here and watch this in America. Where they mindset prior to that, I know they felt safe and secure, and some of them even was like, well, with these police murders, maybe sometimes the victims ask for it, so and so. But then when they witness it with their own eyes, they like, whoa, there is a problem with the police. wow, a man can just actually put his knee in the man's neck after the man said, okay, I give, man, I can't breathe, I need some water, my whole body hurts. And he started applying more pressure. And what he was saying was, your life don't mean nothing to me. I'll put my hand in my pocket, put even more pressure, and murder you and sleep like a baby at night. No problem. That's what we're dealing with, and that's frightening. It's frightening a lot of people. A lot of people are upset about this, can't believe this. And then you hear America tell other countries how they should police their people. And people are like, come on, wait, we want to see what you're going to do with this one here who just murdered George Floyd in broad daylight. We want to see what you're going to do with Derek Chauvin after this. There should be no way Derek Chauvin walks. There should be no way. For those, again, that witnessed that horrific murder, you got my sympathy. I know that was rough, man. I mean, in real time, can you imagine in real time, you standing about 4 or 5 feet away from a man crying out for his mother, crying out for help, and you can hear them cries, and there's nothing you can do about it. But yet, your inner soul, your inner being is telling you, help this man, put your life on the line, help him. But you froze and you couldn't move because of fear of what the officers were going to do to you. Didn't want to go to jail, didn't want to get shot, but you wanted to do something. So you made noises, you cussed at the officers, you tried anything, stop, just pleading with him, Hey, and the sad part about it is and those who witnessed that, in their mindset, they feel like they're good people. So they felt like, well, look, I'm not broken any law. I pay my taxes. I'm a good person. Officer, listen to me. You're killing a man. Get up off his neck. And the officer ignored them like they wasn't shit. I don't value none of you around that's witnessing me murder George Floyd, the officer saying in his mindset. I don't value you or your opinion. I'm going to sit here with my knee on this black man's neck until I choke him out. I don't value you as citizens, tax-paying citizens, voters. Nah, I'm the law. And I decided that, look, I'm going to choke him out, and it is what it is, and that's what's going to happen. Y'all run along, because if y'all try to intervene, tie the police officer that's watching, he's going to shoot you, and I'm going to shoot you as well. Wow, man. What kind of society are we living in? Right? When you can't even intervene and play the humanitarian role and save someone's life at the hands of the people who swore to serve and protect. And you got to fight the people who swore to serve and protect from killing a man. Wow, dude. Wow. It's wild. But on another note, y'all stay tuned. Monday, April 5th, we're going to release the interview that I did with up-and-coming comedian Jeff Shelley. Very funny guy. I want you all to tune in. Make sure you all like and subscribe on YouTube. That's VERBALPIC Radio. And we're out.